Greetings, friends and fellow rebels, and welcome to the woods. I had someone share an experience that they had uh, in response to my thoughts about bullying, and I just wanted to um, share with you what I have observed, and I've observed this over and over again in my social circle. Granted, I hang around, I consort with men and women who have made it a big part of their life's purpose to develop their spiritual gifts, to develop their magic, their abilities on a spiritual level. And this shows up mainly with men. I think I may have encountered one woman who's experienced it, but it's a man thing. Specifically, it's men who are capable of carrying the warrior archetype. And it usually happens in childhood. The the men that I've known who've related their story, it only happened 2 or 3 times, and it was when they were young. But I imagine that if they had been put in a situation where they needed to pull the full embodiment of the warrior forward in an emergency, it would have happened again. But what they describe is being in a situation with other kids where they've been bullied, or a friend has been bullied, and it went over the top, where they sensed on some intuitive level that where it was going was dangerous, where someone would become harmed for life or perhaps die as a result of what was about to go down. And for all of them, it was an intuitive call. It wasn't something they sat and thought about logically, oh, I think now is the time. It just happened. And again, I think it came from a very deep within them. And what would happen is they were cornered, or they were in a situation where they felt cornered, trapped, and they had a serious opponent or several serious opponents, or the bullies were accosting their friend, and it was going to go out of control, and they knew it, they felt it intuitively, and they berserked. We call it berserking. And what essentially happens is a shower of red, strong anger, ruse, red energy comes over them, and they blank out. They don't know what they did after that, which is why berserking, because that's what a berserker does. What I suspect happens when I've observed when someone who has reached close to that state, it's been a couple times in my life where I've seen that begin to happen. What I see occur is they're tapping into the deep um, archetype of what it is to be a spiritual warrior. When we hit that state of emergency, we have the capacity to draw on the totality of our life's work, not just this life, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes past. We pull that in, we pull it into the now very quickly, and then we do what we have to do. And the person who berserks, they go at their opponent all out, and they take care of business. And the stories I've heard from the people who've experienced it, from the men who experienced it, is, well, one moment I was facing these bullies, and the next moment my hand hurt a little bit, and one of them was on the ground bleeding, and the other one had a broken arm, and he was over there, and the other one was up a tree for some reason, and I don't know what happened. You berserk, you use your gifts, you throw out the warrior, you take care of business, and then you come back. And because it wasn't really the you that's in the here and now, in most cases they were kids or adolescents, because it's not the you of the right now, because something more than you stepped in to protect you, you don't remember it. You might be able to remember it if you use certain hypnotic techniques, may give you access to some of those memories. But generally speaking, it's just a blur. Totally normal. You might feel tired. Often, the adrenaline is so high in their system that if they were damaged, they don't feel it. They don't notice it until the adrenaline dies down, and suddenly they might notice, oh, I've dislocated my knee. Oh, I've got a contusion in my side. When they're taking care of it, they don't feel it. Berserking. People have been able to replicate that in part using certain drugs that hype their body up and allow them to go primal. But it's not the same thing as that spontaneous, almost euphoric drawdown where you're pulling down what you once were, the sum total of that archetype that you carry, that you may have carried. Now, if you don't have lifetimes where you were a warrior or a super athlete or knew how to take care of yourself, you're not going to have that berserker capacity. But for those who do, you got to be careful with them, because they take care of business. I would like to see us live in a world where we're not encouraging our children to one-up each other in a cruel fashion. I would like to live in a world where we can have competitions, where we learn from each other. Unless you have one winner for that day, but the people who participate get something out of it because they learn their current limitations, they learn from the experience of competing, they learn what they can do, they learn from the other people who are competing, they might discover something in the process. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't just ignore children tormenting other children, or young people tormenting other young people, or neighbors and friends who get great glee out of inflicting what could be serious harm on another? Wouldn't it be nice if we could encourage compassion and working together? We'll get there. Until we do, having the capacity to berserk, to preserve your life and the life of others, is just one of those special things about being human. Special gifts that some of us have and some of us wish we had. Just a thought, just sharing some experiences, and welcome to the woods.